Tonight on the Black Channel. You thought you had a monopoly on violence under a system of white supremacy, but now you're finding out you didn't have a monopoly. This is an open marketplace. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting super fortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college and university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, oh yes, folks, we do know what the wages of sin happen to be. We do know how that goes here, and someone is getting a up close and personal reminder about that just from the files of We're Keeping Up With You. Former police officer Derek Chauvin, current inmate, has found himself in quite the predicament. We're getting word that Derek Chauvin has apparently gotten up close and personal with some of his fellow inmates, and they obviously asked to have a word with him. A word that apparently he has been reluctant to have, and they insisted on pressing the issue. From ABC News here, prosecutors decry the stabbing of ex-officer Derek Chauvin while incarcerated in George Floyd's killing. Minnesota Attorney General, we'll come back to that one, has denounced a prison attack on Derek Chauvin, saying the former Minneapolis police officer convicted of murdering George Floyd should be able to serve his sentence without fear of violence. Minnesota's Attorney General on Saturday, that's today, denounced a prison attack on Derek Chauvin, saying the former Minneapolis police officer convicted of murdering George Floyd should be able to serve his sentence without fear of violence. A person familiar with the matter told the Associated Press on Friday that Chauvin was stabbed by another inmate at the Federal Corrections Institution, Tucson, a medium security prison that has been plagued by security lapses and staffing shortages. The person spoke to the AP on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to publicly discuss the attack. The person said Chauvin was seriously injured in Friday afternoon's attack. On Saturday, Brian Evans, a spokesman for the Minnesota Attorney General's office, said, quote, "We have heard that he is expected to survive." The U.S. Bureau of Prisons has confirmed an assault at the facility and said employees performed, quote, life-saving measures. They didn't perform attack-saving measures, but all right. Before the inmate was taken to a hospital for further treatment and evaluation. The Bureau of Prisons did not name the victim or provide a medical status, quote, for privacy and safety reasons. Meanwhile, the street still found out. Prosecutors who successfully pursued a second-degree murder conviction against Chauvin at a jury trial in 2021 expressed dismay that he became the target of violence while in federal custody. Quote, "I am sad to hear that Derek Chauvin was the target of violence. He was duly convicted of his crimes, and like any incarcerated individual, he should be able to serve his sentence without fear of retaliation or violence." Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison said in a statement, "I remember 20 years ago when Keith Ellison first came to the United States Congress. I remember when he was there, and boy, I'm telling you, wasn't he one of the most pro-black folk you could have found there at the time? Muslim, all the rest of this stuff here. He's backing Islam and things. That's great. That's wonderful." And then as the years went on, you can see that, yeah, Keith Ellison has certainly shown you that he's more interested in politics than anything else. But I've got a Muslim for Keith Ellison to remember. His name was El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, also known as the immortal Malcolm X. And he said, I don't cry when chickens come home to roost. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of happy when chickens come home to roost. Derek Chauvin is in prison now, not nearly for as long as he should be. Derek Chauvin is in prison now because Derek Chauvin took it upon himself to execute curbside justice, street justice, if you will, on a man who was handcuffed and helpless. He took it upon himself to execute and impose street justice. And now, all these years later, Derek Chauvin finds himself to be the target of street justice, curbside justice, if you will. So if you are expecting Jason Black to become sympathetic here and to start becoming the defense attorney, no, it can't happen. It can't be. I don't cry when chickens come home to roost. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of happy when chickens come home to roost. Derek Chauvin sent this evil out into the world. Derek Chauvin sent this evil out into the world, and how in the world could I possibly sit here and decry that the evil he sent out into the world gave him a house call this week? Thanksgiving week. As a matter of fact, am I going to have to rethink my position on a couple of things? I don't know. Jury's still out. Pardon the expression. I don't know. Might have to think this over. I'm just saying, Thanksgiving week, is somebody trying to get us to reconsider celebrating Thanksgiving? I'm just wondering. Is someone trying to get us to reconsider it? Could be. We'll take it under advisement. Totally possible it could happen. But moving right along here, let's find out how folks feel about this. Let's find out how they feel about this. The Bureau of Prisons said no employees at the Tucson facility were injured in the attack. Well, we're glad to hear that none of the government's employees were injured. I'm sure Derek Chauvin takes a considerable amount of comfort in knowing that none of the guards at the prison were injured while he was sitting in there getting messed up. Yeah, while they were in there messing him up, so glad that none of the guards got injured. Now, the inmates, on the other hand, is a different matter. The facility has about 380 inmates. Now, listen to this next part. Terrence Floyd, George Floyd's brother, told the Associated Press on Saturday that he wouldn't wish for anyone to be stabbed in prison and that he felt numb when he initially learned of the news. Quote, I'm not going to give my energy towards anything that happens within those four walls because my energy went towards getting him in those four walls. Terrence Floyd said, whatever happens in those four walls, I don't really have any feelings about it. Well, I must say that I do understand the feeling. I would certainly endorse that, by the way. Brother simply said, well, I'm not putting my energy towards what happens in those four walls because my energy was what put him behind those four walls. I ain't walking it backwards. Now, that's the correct response to give, that he's not walking it backwards. He's saying, how the hell am I going to expend energy? But for that, I put him there. I helped to put him behind those bars. I ain't got energy to spend over there. So whatever happens in there, I don't really got any feelings about that. To be totally honest with you, just keeping it a $103. I don't really think about it. Don't really have any feelings about it. So glad you all called me up so I can tell you I really don't have any feelings about it.
Deal with it, nigga.
Chauvin stabbing is the second high-profile attack at a federal prison in the last 5 months. In July, disgraced sports doctor Larry Nassar was stabbed by a fellow inmate at the federal penitentiary in Florida. Chauvin, 47, was sent to FCI Tucson from a maximum security Minnesota State prison in August 2022 to simultaneously serve a 21-year federal sentence for violating Floyd's civil rights and a 22.5-year state sentence for second-degree murder. Chauvin's lawyer, Eric Nielsen, had advocated for keeping him out of the general population and away from other inmates, anticipating he'd be a target. In Minnesota, Chauvin was mainly kept in solitary confinement, quote, largely for his own protection. Nelson wrote in court papers last year. So did they mess around and stick him out there with the general public? So are y'all telling me that they put Derek Chauvin out there with the general public in prison? Back the badge. So you mean to tell me they send him to federal prison and the federal prison inmates decide to back the badge? All right. Last week, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected Chauvin's appeal of his murder conviction. Separately, Chauvin is making a long-shot bid to overturn his federal guilty plea, claiming new evidence shows he didn't cause Floyd's death. What? That is not called a long shot. That is just called a dead shot. It really, really is. That's not a long shot. That's a dead shot. He's on video. Yeah. The coroner's report says it was you. Yeah. But there's new evidence. Who brought the new evidence? Candace Damn Me Owens? Where is this new evidence coming from? Jared Taylor? What? Floyd, who was black, was killed May 25th, 2020 after Chauvin, who is white, pressed a knee on his neck for 9.5 minutes on the street outside the convenience store where Floyd was suspected of trying to pass a counterfeit $20 bill. Bystander video captured Floyd's fading cries of "I can't breathe." His death touched off protests worldwide, some of which turned violent. Excuse me, the only violent person was Chauvin. Kiss our collective asses, ABC News. And forced a national reckoning with police brutality and racism. So all these years later, ABC News is upset, Mr. Michael Sissick. They are upset because white supremacy took that L. This is one of those situations where you turn your darkest moment into one of your finest hours, and they had to hold that. If you all agree that we were not the violent ones, Derek Chauvin and ABC News were the ones defending violence, give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 3,000 people in here live in just the first 13 minutes. And if you agree with what we're saying here tonight, give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. We didn't cause anything. We just stepped in to finish it. We did not start anything. And we were not the violent ones. We were the ones who had to stop the violent ones. And ABC News is obviously very upset about that still. They are very upset that they are holding that L to this very day. They're taking and holding that L to this very day, and you will continue to hold it. And we will make sure that the L's get bigger. 3 other former officers who were at the scene received lesser state and federal sentences for their roles in Floyd's death. Chauvin's stabbing comes as the Federal Bureau of Prisons has faced increased scrutiny in recent years following wealthy financier Jeffrey Epstein's jail suicide in 2019. Suicide, shouldn't you put that in quotations, sir? It's another example of the agency's inability to keep even its highest profile prisoners safe after Nassar's stabbing and Unabomber Ted Kaczynski's suicide at a federal medical center in June. Boy, I'm telling you, they're dropping like flies at these federal prisons, aren't they? I mean, they are dropping like gnats. At the federal prison in Tucson in November 2022, an inmate at the facility's low-security prison camp pulled out a gun and attempted to shoot a visitor in the head. The weapon, which the inmate shouldn't have had, you think, misfired and no one was hurt. What? Did you all hear that? An inmate at the prison camp pulled out a gun. Who in the hell is running the Bureau of Prisons? Ma Barker? Al Capone? Who is running the damn federal prison system? An inmate, they've gone beyond just shanks. This guy said, oh no, I can get a strap in. You thought Andy Dufresne and the Shawshank Redemption was impressive. Next thing you know, they're going to have an inmate who brings in a shovel or a backhoe. This dude got a whole gun and he was in the low security part, which probably means he had a date. And he said, yeah, damn this date. I'm going to knock a nigga off before I leave prison. I'm going to shoot him right in the head. Oh, damn, they got me a bad one. Oh, this is what I get for getting the gun from the janky plug in the joint. An ongoing AP investigation has uncovered deep, previously unreported flaws within the Bureau of Prisons. They aren't flaws. It's working the way it's supposed to. The Justice Department's largest law enforcement agency. AP reporting has revealed rampant sexual abuse and other criminal conduct by staff, dozens of escapes, people, dozens, chronic violence, ask Derek Chauvin, deaths, and severe staffing shortages that have hampered responses to emergencies, including inmate assaults and suicides. Bureau of Prisons Director Colette Peters, who was brought in last year to reform the crisis-plagued agency. She vowed to change archaic hiring practices and bring new transparency while emphasizing that the agency's mission is, quote, to make good neighbors, not good inmates. What? Excuse me, did I read that right? The Bureau of Prisons' mission is, quote, to make good neighbors, not good inmates. Folks, does she know who's in that place? Does she think she's a school principal? Did anybody tell her who was in there? All right. Testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee in September, Peters touted steps she'd taken to overhaul problematic prisons and beef up internal affairs investigations. This month, she told the House Judiciary Committee that hiring had improved and that new hires were outpacing retirements and other departures, probably illegal aliens. But Peters has also irritated lawmakers who said she reneged on her promise to be candid and open with them. In September, senators scolded her for forcing them to wait more than a year for answers to written questions and for claiming that she couldn't answer basic questions about agency operations, like how many correctional officers are on staff. So basically, when she like a Kamala Harris hire, is just like, hey, look here, I snuggle up with the right folks. Give me a government job. Who hired her? Hunter Biden? Don't worry, baby. Here, just take this job over here. You get some benefits. Leave me alone about that kid. So yeah, folks, Derek Chauvin has found himself behind the 8 ball or behind the long knives. And I gotta tell you here, in these days and times, as you see this kind of thing occurring here, I don't cry when chickens come home to roost. I was bailing people out of jail. I was paying to bond people out. I was paying to put the spotlight on this situation. It was imperative that we make an example out of Derek Chauvin. It was imperative that we make an example out of him. They've been trying to walk that L backwards ever since without success. So you damn right. This is exactly the outcome that we were looking for here. You want a more humane prison system? You can go ahead and do that, but you ain't gonna give it to everybody else before you give it to us. Black folk have been victims of the local, state, and federal prison systems for decades, centuries now. And we've been yelling about reforming these things for centuries now. And we've been getting excuses for centuries now. Now Derek Chauvin is there. And know what he's finding out is that he would have been far better served in the middle of that street protesting and campaigning for a more humane prison system than he was worrying about taking George Floyd's life. Because now he's asking himself, damn, should have been doing something. So now he's getting to enjoy the tender mercies of a place that he assured himself that his white privilege would spare him from. And now he's sitting in it. And he'll be there, presumably, unless this kind of stuff keeps up. He'll be there till he's 68 years old or so. That's if he gets out with good behavior. All I can say here is, yeah, this wasn't exactly the way you saw things playing out when you were Officer Almighty in the middle of the street and you could murder 3 or 4 black people with impunity. This wasn't the way you thought you saw things playing out then. This wasn't the end that you had in mind. This wasn't the way that you thought it was going to go. You thought it was going to go differently. You thought that you were going to be sitting in a high horse forever. You thought that you had some immunity from it. That's what you thought. And then black empowerment came around the corner, and all of a sudden they were going to try to let you off, and then folks took the streets. Next thing you know, there you are. Next thing you know, after that, it's even easier to convict some of the others. Now he's finding out that, by the way, once they kick your ass in prison, they forget about you. Once you get sent to the joint, they forget about you. Unless they hear something happened. And we heard something happened. And if you ask Jason Black what his response to it is, my response is simple. I don't cry when chickens come home to roost. I'm not the least bit sorrowful when chickens come home to roost. 9.5 minutes of strangulation isn't a mistake and isn't an accident. 9.5 minutes of strangulation isn't accidental. So as far as I'm concerned, you keep him behind bars, he gonna have to make it for himself. And maybe in that hospital infirmary or that ER or that ICU unit, Derek Chauvin is going to have a little bit of time here to reflect on his life. Maybe he's going to have a little bit of time to reflect on some of his sins. Maybe he's going to have a little time to think about what it means to be subjected to the inhumanity of other people. Maybe he'll have a moment to think about, by the way, even if you have committed a crime, do you have rights? Derek Chauvin figured that under color of law and color of skin, that George Floyd did not have any rights. That because George Floyd was accused of a crime, well, he doesn't have any rights. Derek Chauvin is now finding out, by the way, this is justice. Because Derek Chauvin is now saying that even as a prisoner, he should have rights. What he's finding out is he simply has a right to street justice. That's what he's finding out. He's got a right to street justice. He isn't even stupid or foolish enough to expect that there would be sympathy out here. He's not silly enough for that. At least he's smart enough to understand that that is not what will happen. And what he is learning is the danger of aiding in white supremacy. They got so used to things running the way it was under the civil rights generation, they never thought this was what it was going to be. And what do you think life's going to be like when he does make it back to his jail cell? Can you imagine that? Boy, he going to be sleeping on pins, ain't he? Can you imagine what it's going to be like when he does get back there? Can you imagine what that's going to be like? I bet you he's going to sleep like a baby, isn't he? What? Oh, I bet you he will. I bet you he's going to be able to sleep well. Or do you think he's going to be sleeping with one eye closed? Do you all think he's going to be sleeping with one eye closed? Hell, do you think he'll be able to sleep at all? Do you think he's going to be able to rest at all? Do you think he's going to be able to get anything resembling a good night's sleep at all when you get back to the joint? When they put him back up in there? When he's crying and pitching and moaning to his lawyer? Do you think that's going to be the case? Because you have to understand, Derek Chauvin told himself that George Floyd didn't have any rights, and that his rights to live would fall on deaf ears, and now Derek Chauvin is falling on deaf ears. It used to be you could go around and find some folks to throw some sympathy, but as time goes on, it's getting less and less and less. Folks are getting more and more emboldened to say the damn truth until finally you come to George Floyd's brother and he ain't saying forgive, forgive. He's saying forget, forget. What time is the game on? What time is the game on? This is where you are now, in a system of inhumane indifference that you created. So when we say that we are looking to enact a system of justice, you better join in with us. You better join in with us. You don't want to be subjected to a system of injustice. This is what happens when you are enjoying the fruits of a system of injustice. I bet you Derek Chauvin is wishing he had done something different now with his life and his years, and more importantly, his recent times. Bet you're wishing you had done something different now. And if you all remember here, this reminds you of one Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump right now is getting run through the court system. Donald Trump right now is getting run through the court system. And let me be clear, I meant every word that I said. Donald Trump is not guilty of the things he's being accused of. No, he's not. The evidence is very clear. It is a witch hunt. They are going after him simply because they do not like his political persuasion, and that is it. That's the only reason they're going after him. Donald Trump has not committed any crimes here. He hasn't done anything wrong. And that is why what is happening to him now is justice. Because Donald Trump is innocent. And so were Yusuf Salaam and the rest of the Central Park Five. They were innocent too. And that did not prevent Donald Trump from running around taking out newspaper ads to say to put them in jail anyway, even though they were innocent. So now, all these decades later, Donald Trump is finding himself in a situation where he is innocent. And people are saying it doesn't matter. Jail him anyway. Incarcerate him anyway. Find him guilty anyway. Now, I submit to you all that that is true justice. If Donald Trump were actually guilty of these things he's being accused of, that would actually not be true justice. True justice is when you have to suffer that which you have wrongfully inflicted on others. That's true justice. Donald J. Trump was trying to put innocent men in prison. Now he is an innocent man who faces prison. That is justice. That if you attempt to imprison innocent people, you will find yourself as an innocent person being imprisoned. That's justice. And if you are a person who says that other people do not have rights if they've been accused of a crime, then you will find yourself as a person with folks denying your rights if you're accused of a crime. That's justice. And now all he can do is have them put some band-aids on their substandard ass medical care, march his ass back to the prison and tell him, oh, well, one down and 28 more years to go. One down, 25 more years to go. All you got to do is survive this for 25 more years. That's all you got to do. No biggie. You just got to make it through here for another quarter of a century. That's all you got to do. That's a hell of a thing to hear when you're 47 years old. Can you make it to 70? I submit to you that that is true justice. So I am lockstep with George Floyd's brother Terrence. I don't have too much energy to be able to devote to what's happening in Derek Chauvin's jail cell because I worked very hard to get him in it. You all haven't heard me doing too many checkups on Amber Geiger. I spent cold cash money out of my pocket to put billboards around Dallas to make sure she got in prison. And I didn't do it because I was so worried about when she was getting out. Botham Jean got a death sentence. You think I'm concerned about what Amber Geiger's sentence is? Botham Jean got a death sentence. This is the generation you dealing with here today. Forgive ain't in the vocabulary. Getting along ain't in the vocabulary. Sympathy ain't in the vocabulary. Our only regret is that all the others from Zimmerman forward and backwards aren't in there with him. March them in, round them up, general population. If anything happens, take them to the hospital, patch them up, roll them right back in there. I'm talking about right back to the same jail cell with the same damn jail cellmate. What? Put them right back up in there and tell them you got 25 more years to serve. And we do mean serve, because you gonna serve and you gonna probably get served.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Yes, you can take these 25 years. Keep that eye open. Derek's not the only one, folks. Derek is not the only one tonight. Believe it or not, there are some other folks who thought that they were going to ride with white supremacy and everything was going to be cool, everything was going to be good, everything was going to be great, everything was going to be sweet. And what they're finding out is that this weekend, oh hell, it is happening. It's going to get rougher for them. I'm going to give you those details here after this commercial, non-commercial break. Before we do, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. To my man, Mr. Rich Berg, thank you very much for your long-standing support, brother. I appreciate that. My man, Andrew L., B1 Media's a Lifesaver, and Keenan, thank you very much for your support. We are going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, there's some other folks who thought that they were going to aid white supremacy, and they just found out that their neck is in the vice too. Those details coming up. This is The Black Channel.
Hello, my name is Steve Burgess. I'm the author of this book, Guidelines for the Successful Student, a closer look at parenting your school-aged child. In this book, I've explained the role of the parent and the student in addition to what accommodations, procedures, rewards and consequences and expectations that need to be in place to ensure student success from primary to high school. This book is available on Amazon.com. For more information, please visit my link tree at Easy One-on-One. And to access my latest podcast, A Teaching Moment with Mr. B. Thank you all for listening.
A white supremacist assassin seeks revenge. Corrupt FBI agents with evil intentions. Dangerous black collaborators dedicated to treason. Occam Jeffers must defeat them all and somehow survive. One misstep and he's a dead man. Join Occam Jeffers as he looks the devil in his blue eyes and tells him, Black first. A sequel to the underground hit War of the Heart, Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents God Love Us, on sale at Amazon. Pre-order and save today. Visit spiritOf1811publishing.com and show your love.
I am America's stepchild, and this is my diary. This diary is dedicated to the descendants of American slaves. Born in the projects, ass out, the beginning was the end for me. No time to pout. Born in the projects, ass out, the beginning was the end for me. After 20 years of silence since the Miami Beach police assaulted me and almost killed me for absolutely no reason without being held accountable, with the support of the white supremacy religion system, namely judges, lawyers, and municipality, I tell my story.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' natural body butter with skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And yes, some other folks are finding out the hard way how things are going to go. They're finding out the hard way. They told themselves they had a special dispensation, and they really didn't. And guess who else is finding it out? None other than, Shucky Ducky. New York Mayor Eric Adams. What? What are we doing? Why, yeah, Eric Adams is being accused of sexual assault. Now, wait till you hear the details of Officer Eric Adams. New York Mayor Eric Adams is being accused of committing sexual assault in 1993. I said 1993. What? Folks, 1993. 30 years ago. Officer Adams, tell the damn truth. Did you really think that you were going to get the Bill Cosby treatment? Folks, some woman that waited 30 years. Some of you wasn't even born. Now wait till you hear the details. New York Mayor Eric Adams is accused of committing sexual assault in 1993, according to a new court summons filed under the state's Adult Survivors Act. The summons was filed on Wednesday, In the state Supreme Court in Manhattan, along with Adams, the filing also names the New York Police Department's Transit Bureau and the Guardians Association of the NYPD as defendants. News of the filing was first reported by The Messenger. According to the summons, the plaintiff, whom the Washington Post is not identifying because of the nature of the case, so they have her name, they have her information, they're refusing, the media now, Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, is refusing to say the name of the accuser. Well, that shouldn't be right, though. If you're not going to say who the accuser is, why should you be saying who the accused is? But okay. Was sexually assaulted by Adams in New York in 1993. While they both worked for the city, the plaintiff accuses Adams of sexual assault, battery, and employment discrimination based on her gender and sex, as well as retaliation, a hostile work environment, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Damn it, the only thing she didn't say is that he spilled Skittles on her floor. That's the only thing she didn't accuse him of right now is not being able to tie a Windsor knot. Did you all get that? She accused him of sexual assault, battery, employment discrimination based on her gender and sex, retaliation, hostile work environment, intentional infliction of emotional distress. What the hell? I mean, she is just freestyling. What'd she say? If Cassie can hem up P. Diddy, why come I can't get my bread broke off? Adams, in a statement sent through a city hall spokesman, denied knowing the plaintiff. Quote, the mayor does not know who this person is. They ain't gonna help you. If they ever met, he doesn't recall it, but he would never do anything to physically harm another person and vigorously denies any such claims. Not according to her. A lawyer for the plaintiff did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The lawsuit against Adams and the two departments asked for, quote, an amount to be determined at trial, but in no event less than $5 million, plus attorney's fees and interest. What? She said no less than $5 million. Yeah, she says she's not going to be worried about the price of rising housing in New York City because she's going to see about getting the city to take care of hers. So yes, she's waited 30 years. It didn't bother her until now, but she's waited 30 years and said, you know what? I can't wait no longer. I feel, Eric, you remember that stuff we was doing? Well, now I feel like you was raping me now. I didn't think you were raping me then, but ever since my money then got low and things didn't work out for me, I feel you were raping me now. Now that I think there's a payday in it, now I feel like you was raping me. Adams, who became mayor in 2022, served as an officer for the New York City Transit Police and later the NYPD for more than 20 years. Some people say he is still a police officer. The mayor also is facing scrutiny over a political matter. Earlier this month, FBI agents seized electronic devices, including phones, belonging to the mayor, according to his campaign attorney. The seizures are connected to a federal investigation into fundraising during Adams' 2021 campaign. Adams' attorney Boyd Johnson told the Post that Adams was not accused of, quote, any wrongdoing. Governor Kathy Hochul signed the Adult Survivors Act into law last year, giving adult sexual assault survivors up to 1 year to file an assault against their alleged attacker, regardless of when the alleged violation happened. So in other words, hey, to all the hoes who didn't get at these dudes years ago, we gonna give you one more time to get back at them. Yeah, we're gonna give you a statute of limitations extension for another year. Hopefully you done got your money right in the last 20 or 30 years so you can go file these bogus lawsuits, but okay. The act is modeled on the state's Child Victims Act, which was signed in 2019 and offered a similar opportunity for survivors of child sexual abuse to file suits against their alleged abusers. You're comparing a bunch of women to children. Okay. The window to file such lawsuits under the law expires Friday, which has led to an avalanche of civil filings. Do you see this? The window to file such lawsuits under the law expires Friday, which has led to an avalanche of civil filings in recent weeks against powerful figures. Former President Donald Trump and Bill Cosby, again, are among those who have been accused under the law. So, what they're saying basically is that any old skank you ever winked at before, if you ever got yourself some paper, she been waiting all this time. Oh, I'm so glad you made good in life. You got paid, we getting paid. Don't you understand that something this broad allows in every single mentally and emotionally imbalanced and unhinged individual out there in New York City's full of them. Age doesn't matter. But I will say one more thing. These are men who have had their opportunity to speak. Governor Cuomo should have spoke. Eric Adams should have spoke. Bill Cosby should have spoke. You guys should have been standing up against laws getting proposed like this decades ago. You should have been making sure it was articulated then. You didn't spend your time doing that. You were too busy thinking, well, don't worry, this will snag everybody except me. Now you're finding out it's going to get you first. Just like Derek Chauvin, I think you're wishing that you had spent your time a little bit differently. And po little Eric Adams, po little Tink Tink, man, don't you all know he thought that after Bill de Blasio, he thought that he was going to have a cakewalk. Don't you all know Eric Adams thought that he was going to have smooth sailing for his administration. This man been catching hell since the day he walked in, man. Since the day he walked in. Asian hate, sexual assault, migrants and illegal aliens at a level of biblical proportions showing up in your city. Now he's catching lawsuits. The Israelis and the Palestinians are literally killing each other in New York City right now. Folks are literally going at each other in New York. Literally. I mean, New York is ground zero. They're blocking up traffic. It is unreal. If he had known that this was coming, I bet you he would have said, man, let me run in 2026. Yeah, let me let this little cycle go through. Let me refile my papers in 2026. Let me hold off a minute, because let me tell y'all something. Do you think this chick would be accusing Eric of anything if he was still Officer Eric Adams? Do you all think that that would be the case? If Eric Adams was still beat cop Eric Adams, do you think this law, how many of these lawsuits are just going against basic city workers? How many New York City garbage collectors, sanitation workers, do you think are getting lawsuits filed against them this weekend? How many? How many New York City subway conductors do you think are getting lawsuits filed against them this week? Talking about something you did back during the Death Row Records era. You tell me, how many you think doing that? How many? Show me the folks you think are sitting up in his... Show me the fella making... Tell me how many dudes at Five Guys. How many dudes who work at Five Guys or Mike's or Jersey Mike subs are getting lawsuits filed against them? 30 damn years later. 30 years later. I want y'all to think that over for a moment. Hell no, he didn't think he was going to be the target of any of that. He thought he got away scot-clean. He thought he got away scot-clean. That's what he thought. He thought the rest of us were going to have this issue and that he was going to skate. He thought he was in good. He thought that was going to be our problem. Woke up one damn evening and now it is his problem. And by the way, y'all know how this goes. That's just the one lawsuit that has been claimed. Somebody go ask P. Diddy how that game go down. The first broad files the first lawsuit. And then if they get paid, next thing you know, here comes some other shit gonna run up. You know, I was alone in a restaurant with him for 30 minutes. Can I get 3-4 mil? You know, I did go on a date with P. Diddy once, and I feel like I was assaulted after that. I need me about 10-12 mil to make this pain go away. Yeah, I know I've been living with it now for 30 years, but it's really been bothering me in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I know. I let it, I didn't really get, it wasn't really bothering me for 30 years. I was getting on with my life, but now 30 years later, I don't think I can make it no more. I feel like I've been sitting on it too long, so can y'all give me a few million to make the pain go away? Can I get a few mil to make the pain go away? Can I do that? Can y'all help me with that? You thought that you were going to be tripping up other black males, and Eric Adams told himself, well, I ain't black like that, and he just found out, oh no, don't worry. Andrew Cuomo, when we get done with him, we coming for you. When we get done with Andrew, we coming for you, Eric. He's, oh, don't worry, I'm the mayor now. What are the chances that could happen? Pretty damn good. I bet you he's sending every damn foul language text message he can to Governor Holcomb. Look here, you old snot-faced wench. Passing these old bull jive ass laws. Cause you know ain't nobody gonna come sue your ass. Man, if I were Mayor Eric Adams, I would be founding the Get Kathy Hochul Out of Office Political Action Committee. I'd be holding the meetings my damn self. I wouldn't even get an intermediary. I'd be doing it my damn self. Every time they want to hold a damn press conference in New York City, if I was Eric Adams, I'd be, before we start this press conference, get Kathy's ass out of office. Okay, now let me talk about trash pickup in the Bronx. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here to come here today. Get Kathy Hochul's ass out of office. Go to getherassoutofoffice.com.org.net. Yes, now I would like to discuss the tolls on the George Washington Bridge. You might have seen that. Hello, everyone. Thank you today for joining us at today's press conference here. Kathy Hochul's ass has been in office too damn long. We need somebody else here. So definitely come to my website so we can get her up out of there. Now, I want to go ahead and discuss the new bus schedules going to Times Square. That would be me. Eric's sitting here looking all stupid. He needs to be doing something. Can't you see these hoes are coming for your neck? You need to be doing something. You're the damn mayor. You need to go check and see if there's some skeletons in her closet, and can you criminalize that? No, you think you're going to help them with other black males. Don't worry, Eric, you'll be the only one we going to keep. No, you're just going to be the first one gone. They're letting him know, oh, you ain't going to make it out of here at all. You're not going to make it out of here at all. No, we already, brother, your name is just basically Mayor Scandal. It's just all over the damn place. It's just all over the damn place. What you gonna do? What are you going to do? Folks, there are dangers in aiding white supremacy. There are dangers in helping them to avoid those things. There are dangers in running interference. There are dangers of willful ignorance. On both sides of the fence, we have created a very hostile environment. Very hostile. And our job is to make sure that it remains hostile for everyone who's taking part in it. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That is 646-787-1933, your personal access code to the black media. We are very glad to have you all with us here this evening. Big shout out here to Mr. Santee, Mr. Brown, Mr. Wilburn, and everyone else who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat, Venmo. Very glad to have you all with us here this evening. We are discussing the dangers of aiding white supremacy. A whole bunch of folks on both sides of the fence have told themselves that this was a victimless crime, have told themselves they got a pass, have told themselves they got exemption, have told themselves nobody's going to know, nobody's going to remember. And what they found out is they got another thought coming. We tell them that bill always comes due. Even some folks who before now found themselves being protected, they can no longer count on that protection. They can no longer be guaranteed that protection. And you've heard less incidents happening here as well. Now that folks have been put on notice, this is what real change looks like. And some of the other folks who think they're going to get off scot-free, they're finding out the hard damn way. Oh, no. They just let you in a little bit longer before they come take your number. They let Eric Adams get elected so they can say, see, we ain't racist. Just as soon as he sits up here and sits down in that chair good, here come the bull jive. Everybody and their mama at his front door. You got the Israelis and the Palestinians sitting up here giving him hell. What the hell is little old Eric Adams supposed to do? He's the mayor of New York, not the mayor of Tel Aviv. What is he supposed to do about something happening in Israel on the other side of the world? What is he supposed to do? But they got microphones in his face telling him, well, why don't you give us your position on it? My position? I'm the mayor of New York. What position? What position? Why is it y'all didn't ask me how I felt about the war in Rwanda? Why are you not asking me that one? Y'all didn't care about the war in Rwanda? Where do you come down on it? You didn't ask me about that one. That's a hell of a situation to be in. It's like, hey, by the way, there's been a whole lot that's going on. Y'all didn't ask me no questions about those. So the war in Rwanda was cool. This one right here is not. I got to give you a lecture on that. Folks, I mean, literally just a year and some months in, the war in the Middle East. So even if he cleaned up everything in New York City, even if he had New York City running perfectly, they would stick a microphone in his face and say, okay, over there in the Middle East now, what you gonna do about that? What am I gonna do? But take a look at New York. Yeah. Forget New York. What you gonna do about Israel? Well, certainly I don't want folks blowing up Israel. Oh, so you're against the Palestinians? No, I'm not against the Palestinians either. I don't want anyone blowing up. So you're against the Jews? No, I'm not against anybody. So you're for genocide? No, I'm not for genocide. So you're against bombing? Well, I mean, hold on. So you're against self-defense? No, I'm not against self-defense either. So you're for the Jews? Man, if y'all don't let me go run for damn me dog catcher, if you don't let my ass out this damn mayor's office and let me go run for ice cream salesman, let me do that. Thought he was going to get away scot-clean, scot-free. Found out he was going to get something else. Let's go ahead and get over here to the telephone lines. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the Black Channel. Let me get caller from area code 323. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, Big Brother Jason. This is Brother Elijah calling out of Washington, D.C.
All right, Brother Elijah, D.C., what's on your mind?
Just a quick question, and I'm going to let the other callers. Brother, please educate us. Why does these Negroes think in the year 2023 that it's still good to bargain with the devil, play his game? Because it's not just Eric Adams. You got Marilyn Mosby. You got these other Negroes. That it's just an avalanche of this, and it's about to happen to Brother Jason Johnson out there in Chicago. He may not see it, but it's coming. Why do these Negroes think that you're just going to cakewalk? They're going to put you in a position and not take it from you? That's my question.
Because all these Negroes were taken behind closed doors. And they chose these people because they're of low character, in many cases of low intellect. And they got convinced by these white political leaders that you're the special one. And they have given them little privileges. I mean, think about how many hurdles you got to jump to become the mayor of New York. So how could you possibly doubt their sincerity when they presumably delivered on the goods? You said you wanted to be mayor of New York. They said, stick with us, you'll be mayor of New York, and I'll be damned, you mayor of New York. So they got your defenses totally down. Your defenses are down. So you have now told yourself that that's okay, because here's the other lie they tell themselves. They tell themselves, well, because I've been lifted up in the system, I know where the bodies are buried. That's what they tell themselves.
Oh, wow.
I know. So you see, they can't come trying to take me down because I know where the bodies are buried. I know where the dirt is, and I'll start telling my truth if anybody tries to come after me. And what they find out is actually you don't have anything. That's what they find out later is you don't have any hands to call. You don't have any bluffs to call. You ain't got nobody's dirt to kick out there. You and I watched as the Republicans threw a bunch of damn women at Joe Biden. And with these women talking about Joe Biden sexually assaulted me, ain't nobody heard a damn thing from them since. Think about that for a few moments. Kamala Harris sat there. I believe him. Didn't nobody give a damn about that? They can sit there. I'm here to tell my truth. Okay, tell your damn truth in the closet where ain't nobody listening. And that was it. So Eric Adams is telling himself, I'm going to get that treatment. Jason Johnson, I'm going to get that treatment. Lori Lightfoot, I'm going to get that treatment. Keisha Bottom B, I'm going to get that treatment. So, they all sit around telling themselves, I'm going to get it like that because they envy the white politicians. And as you know, that's always the reason that the black politicians get caught whenever they try to pull some scandal. They think they're going to get the treatment that the white politicians do. Kwame Kilpatrick thought he was going to get the treatment that the white politicians do. Ray Nagin, I'm going to get what the white politicians do. Every time you turn around, the black politicians, they envy the white politicians being corrupt. So it's not really power if I can't abuse it the way that they do. I don't need to serve black folk. Let me serve myself. So that's what they do.
Yes, sir.
That's what they do. So that's what motivates them. That's what's got them doing that. That's what got them trying to test those waters because they've always dreamt of being able to get away with and do what the white folk are doing. Marilyn Mosby, in her case, running off with PPP funds and misappropriating them. And she's like, well, the white folk do it. Hey, take a look at Brett Favre over there. Let me go do that. And then found out it doesn't work that way. Not for you. Not when you try it. The very same folks that you thought you were going to snitch on, those are the people got the judge. You sitting up here trying to tell the judge, hey, he doing the same damn thing. The judge like, shut up, nigga.
Yes, sir.
We're not listening. And that's where you at.
Of course.
That's where you're at.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, B1, brother. Thank you so much for the education, as always, all right?
Thank you for giving us a call tonight. Let me get call from area code 678. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Man, it's T Boogie out of Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, T Boogie out of Atlanta. What's on your mind?
Man, great broadcast. Want to just call, man, just talk about, I think it's kind of new to the black media. I just started listening to you on last year. But one thing that I've watched play out so just perfectly, like you say, it's just kind of exposing the way these politicians or these black politicians are put in these places to where they are really like there is no playbook that the white supremacists have to kind of where they're changing. It's like I guess my question is as a black politics, like where do we go from here? Because their playbook is being exposed. They have nowhere to go. They have these token Negroes in places where, I mean, they can't advocate for anything black, but at the same time, it's like they're always on the table to be ate. Like, what is the next step for black politics that you think? Because like you said, we see right now white supremacy is not changing its playbook at all.
Well, I mean, white supremacy doesn't have to change anything. The real thing is for their options to become futile, which is what's currently happening. Nobody is running to Eric Adams' defense. He doesn't have any street support, street credibility. Nobody's jumping up, and there's no protest. There's no people talking about he's our mayor. Giving him the Marion Barry treatment. There's nobody giving him that. There's nobody doing that. So he's on the outside looking in. That's the peril of being a political puppet. Political puppets don't actually have grassroots support. So if your buddies in the political establishment decide to go in on you, you're basically a sitting duck because you don't have any extra political power to bring to bear. If these are the folks who gave you your political power, if they snatch it from you, then you don't have any extra political power that is outside of politics to be able to fight back with. You have no grassroots support outside of the political structure. So it's just you by yourself. Right. And that's got to be damn me stressful for Eric. Right. That's got to be very stressful for Eric. I know Eric's sitting at home right now talking about me, y'all messing up my diabetes and my gout flaring up. I'm just saying he's dealing with all these other things, the Israelis and Palestinians in the streets. And then he's like, well, Lord, hopefully that's the end of that. And then they go throw a summons on his desk. What is this, right? 1993. Can you even think about this for a few moments? If you had to remember a chick that you met in 1993, it's like you got to remember one, not 10 or 12, one. Wait a minute. How long did I know? How long did we work together? You were together for 3 months. 3 months in 1993? How is this legal?
Right, but knowing what we know, like how did he not see this coming? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what I'm seeing it now. It's just like how I see it. Like how do these guys not see this ending? Like we said, there is no retirement plan for the type of cooning.
Brother, they let him run. Brother, they let him run for 3 damn decades. How could he see it? I mean, 3 decades later, brother, you like, look here, there's niggas who ain't alive from 1993. Okay? Think from that perspective. Right. How many folk you knew in 1993 who are even still alive? I mean, it becomes a survival test after 30 damn years. So it's like, man, anybody who didn't like me, they done had 3 damn decades to say something. I'm scot-free. Then here come Kathy Holcomb. Y'all got 1 more year. Lawsuit, lawsuit, lawsuit. Oh, I'll be damned. They still are alive.
Man, one more thing I wanted to kind of get your perspective on. Another thing that is, again, been perfectly exposed by the black media is why you see everyone now kind of jumping on board with the hey, kind of forcing, we'll sit this one out if you guys aren't. Like I've seen a lot of people with some of their banter and their feedback for the Palestinian and Israeli conflict is like they're talking about withholding their votes from like the Democratic Party when we see what type of reaction that got from everyone else when the black grassroots kind of stood on that square. Now you see everyone standing on that square. Like, what's your perspective on that? Do you see them getting any blowback, or how is that going to play out with the Democratic Party here coming up? It's already kind of jump off topic, but I did want to get your perspective on that.
You know, the lobby for Israel, I mean, they just making it clear right now. They're not even making pretenses of any money anymore. If you against us, if we trying to bring the money to bear on you, that way it's that dollar bill gonna get you. So they're making it very, very clear that they're flexing their financial muscles, that they don't have numerical support. So it's like, look, we're just bringing the finances down on you. That's gonna be our weapon of choice. So for the people who are vulnerable to that kind of thing, these folks are making it very, very clear. It's like, yeah, after all these decades of saying don't stereotype us with that, in just 1 month, it's like, yeah, by the way, we got the money. We got the bag. We got the bag. And if you're on the wrong side of us, we're going to bust you over the head with that bag. So that's where we are now. So people who are vulnerable to that are expressing that they're afraid. People who are not vulnerable to that, they're giving a more objective, principled response. That's what you're seeing. So what this is uncovering is who's vulnerable and who isn't.
Oh, man, great perspective. Hey, shout out to the black family. A-Town, stay down, man. And black media, y'all keep doing your thing.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Yeah, folks, like I say, the dangers of aiding white supremacy. If you thought it was going to be a cakewalk, if you thought it was going to be easy, if you thought it wasn't going to be a problem here, man, look here. Folks, on both sides of the aisle, on both sides of the fence, it is not going to be a cakewalk, not anymore. It's not going to be a cakewalk for you anymore. Not anymore. You are not going to be able to do that. And it's going to be your friends you got to watch out for. In the chat room, you bring up a very good point there. APAC, what's that? The LAPD or whatever. They're investigating whether they should treat protests outside of APAC headquarters or whatever somebody's place there as a hate crime. Oh yeah, a political organization is protesting outside the place. Is that a hate crime? That's what you got going on now. Black folk have never had that kind of protection. What are you talking about? We've never had that. So these other folks are letting you know, it's like, yeah, we coming out with it. Okay, forget all the pretenses. This is what it's going to be. Caller from area code 469. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Thomas calling from Dallas, Texas.
Thomas from Dallas, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Jason, I really don't have no mercy for these black politicians, man, because they spend all their time talking down on black people. I mean, the whole time. I mean, you see Brandon Johnson in Chicago just talking down on. I mean, not even listening to his own black people that voted for him. I mean, Eric Adams, you got to think he was police officer for 20 years. How many black people did he abuse while he was police officer? So they can't come running back to us. No way trying to get support. I don't support none of them. And I hope that when they throw shit in the fan, it's going to come back in your face. That's how I look at it. And anybody that's a black politician, if you don't take heed to this, they coming to get you. This white supremacy is always going to break its tools. You taught us that years ago. So if they keep falling for the trap door, we can't help them, Jason. Be one.
Be one, brother. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get a caller from area code 504. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. This is G from New Orleans.
G from New Orleans, what's on your mind?
Hey, brother, I got a question, and then I'll follow up with a comment. Just the possibility, I want to ask you, do you think what is happening to Eric Adams as well as the others, I'm just curious, do you think this could be a money hustle in some way?
Of course it's a money hustle. That law was passed for the purposes of running your pockets. That was its purpose. That was a law specifically passed for the purposes of financially targeting these men, but particularly black men. That was the whole purpose of it. This is why, for example, where's the law that allows you to sue 30 years later for misappropriation of child support, misappropriation of alimony, paternity fraud? Where's the law for that one? So this whole thing right here is really just predicated on running the pockets. So this is why these fellows, if you're going to be a politician, you need to be a politician all the damn way around, because these women, illegal aliens, LGBT, they getting in the office specifically campaigning and specifically protecting the interests of their group. These fellows sit up here and go in the office and they sitting up here trying to figure out, is there some intern they can sit up here and play grab ass with? And then next thing you know, she's coming for your damn political neck in 30 years.
Right.
30 years later. Do you know he's going to have to go through his damn high school yearbook to figure out who the hell that was? He's going to go through the whole police academy book. Who in the hell was this? I don't even remember this.
Right.
And it's like, okay, you getting sued anyway.
It's true.
What's going to happen is they're going to get together, and if they can get 2 or 3 other chicks to accuse you in tandem, they hoping they can get the city to say, man, just settle. We're just going to sell. That's what it is now. This is a grab. This is a take. This is run the pockets. That's all it is. This is run the pockets. This is run the pockets. And these politicians figured it was just going to hit us. There's no way in the hell you're supposed to let a bunch of chicks sit up there in Albany and make some law that you know puts you behind the damn 8-ball, or that you even suspect does. They wouldn't let you do one that they even suspect puts them behind the 8-ball. Not even suspected. And yet there you are just sitting there scanning. I support the law. I support the law for all the victims everywhere. Mayor Adams, here's your subpoena for your victim. What is that? Hold on now. That's where he's at today.
Right. I can guarantee you, Jason, that a lot of those, especially those male politicians, most of them don't read the laws that are passed through there. Even John Conyers, when he did the movie Fahrenheit 9/11, the congressman from Detroit, he talked about how they don't even read half the bills that come through there. So they're not reading these laws, and they let this woman, Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, and others just pass this crap. And now everybody's getting sued. Even Axl Rose is being sued for something from 1989. I'm like, come on, man. How do we even defend that? How do you even defend something like that? But, Eric Adams, I think his way is his karma, because I feel that his political career, especially in New York as mayor, since he's relied so much on trying to stiff it to Donald Trump, they had all these illegal immigrants come into New York, and now they have no place for them. So that backfired. He even talked about putting in private residence, so they don't want to do that. And, he has no support now. So I think he's going to end up like Dave Dinkins, and he's going to be out of office, next year. My thoughts on that.
Certainly, he's going to have an uphill political climb. He has had so much tossed at him. He's become the face of so many failures on so many levels. It isn't fair. It isn't equitable, but at the same time, he should have seen this coming left, right, and center. So this is what happens when you tell yourself that you're the preferred Negro and that these white folks love you. This is what always happens. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller Miracle 651. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yo, what's good, Jason Black? This is the Bill coming out of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay, Bill out of Minneapolis. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. I just have to say, karma is really cruel, man. Especially when it's ready to collect through all the evil deeds of a lot of these sellouts around here in this black community. And Eric Adams and Candace Owens, they're all learning it the hard way. And I must say, it's wonderful to see. And I must say, too, that all this time Eric Adams thought that bringing in these immigrants and bringing in all this diversity, so-called quote-unquote diversity, was going to, bring prestige and, even things out in the United States. Yeah, right. And now the people that are putting them into their places in the first place are showing their true colors, and now they're ready to just break Eric Adams completely into pieces and pretty much discarding him.
Well,
like
you know,
before, many
the
times.
thing is that he was doing this at their bidding for all these rich folk up there in New York who want cheap labor, slave labor. Here's the crazy part about it. They done brought these illegal alien females up here, and I mean, they are all up and down Roosevelt. They're all up and down the Bronx. They're all up and down all over the damn place. I mean, selling sex like it ain't nothing in huge numbers. Those are the people who are going to be the housekeepers. Those are the people who are going to be the nannies. Those are going to be the folk working at these high-rise hotels. So the white folk who brought them in here, they're bringing them in, and those folk ain't going to have no recourse. So you're going to be able to sit up here and fill on them and pawn them and do whatever else you want to do with them. And basically, they got to go with the program. And you're like, okay, well, that's perfectly fine. That'll work here. Next thing you know, now here you are as a politician. It's like, okay, well, the legal chicks are running you through the damn ringer. So there's the amazing thing about it is they've brought in a bunch of females, illegal females from other countries who won't have the ability to do any of this stuff. And meanwhile, folks like Eric Adams are being left vulnerable to the legal ones who can. That's the great irony of this.
Yep, absolutely, 100%, no doubt about it. And I'm going to land my plane on this. For Eric Adams and Candace Owens, how does it feel to be being disposed of by white supremacy? How does it feel now?
Well,
and
you know,
land my plane on that.
That's going to be an interesting one right there. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Candace Owens, that's going to be an interesting one there. Candace Owens got her nigga wake-up call. And here's the problem. In the case of Candace Owens, when you are a bedwench female, so you got to understand, black males, when they coon, they actually understand. They know full damn well that they're playing a role. They don't actually buy into it because they understand this isn't real. Candace Owens, bed wenches, oh, they take it seriously. Kim Klacik, they take it seriously. They got a zaddy, oh, they are all in. And they tell themselves that they've got privilege over the black males. She's telling herself that because she's female and a bunch of white men told her that she's cute to them, that, oh, I'm in. See, I've got powers that you males don't have. So you see, when I pull this trigger, it works for me differently and better than it does for you. I got female privileges. Now they're letting her know she doesn't have it. Now, what she's going to do next is she's going to appeal to her white male fan base, and she's going to scream, "Zaddy, Zaddy, come help me." That's what's going to come next. She's going to try to see how much pull she got. And she's going to insist that they defend her the way that they would defend the white men. Here's the problem with what you're about to try to ask to happen, Candace. It can't happen. You are going to be asking a bunch of white men to go to war with other white men over you. You see, it was different when you were asking white men to go to war with black men over you. That went differently because they weren't going to war with us over you. You were simply their mascot for their political interests. Now you are expecting a bunch of white men on one side to come to your defense against the white men that you were cool with until last week on the other side. And that all these white men are supposed to get together and duke it out for your honor and your protection. That's what you literally think is going to happen. That's what would have to happen in this case because you don't have any black support to count on. So we're not going to come help you do a damn thing. So the only thing you have left to do is to appeal to your white male base to come in and support you. And that means supporting you means they got to go with these white men for you. You got to go at them. That's got to happen. And what I'm telling you is there's no way in the hell you are going to see white men in any appreciable numbers go to war with other white men over some black female. Not happening. So she's going to have a terrible wake-up call. This is going to be awful on her part. She thought she was special. She thought that she was sacred. She thought that she was privileged. Now she's finding out you don't have any support. And that was always the goal. You see, now that you're isolated from black people, your job is to be a mascot. And the moment that your ability to protect their interests is gone, they can cut you off and you got nothing. And I couldn't think of it happening to a nicer gal. Caller from area code 708. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Los Angeles. My name is Devin.
All right, Devin from Los Angeles. What's on your mind?
Hey, I wanted to know, because I just came back from Chicago, and the environment was very similar to New York. So Eric Adams, because his support system is all messed up, you know, he was running off, he's a police and everything. When they come at him with all these allegations like sexual assault, there's a new one. Before it was they had him with the campaign donations. If he gets found guilty or he steps down, who takes his place?
I mean, you know, you have like a city council person who can be mayor pro tem if something like that occurs. So generally speaking, the city council would choose somebody to serve as acting mayor until you can have an election. That's generally that would be the way that kind of thing would work.
So we don't get the vote or anything, or you know, I'm not New York, I'm in California, but there wouldn't be a vote.
Eventually, I mean, if he resigns as mayor, the city council, usually the way it works with city councils or aldermen is they would elect somebody among their ranks to serve as the mayor pro tem until you can hold an election.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna land my plan. I just want to say one more thing. Did you hear about that guy who was a homeless man in Denver who got jumped by a bunch of illegals, and he actually fended himself off with a knife and a hard hat, using the hard hat like a shield, and they're framing it in the media like he was attacking them. but really, what happens, because this happened in Chicago too, where people go over to the immigrants encampments because they have better stuff over there. So if you're a homeless American, they don't give you anything, but you look over there like they have good food, they get clothes. So people that are homeless here go over to their encampments, and the illegals don't want them there.
Okay,
And
well,
so he got into a fight, one of them.
maybe the homeless Americans here need to do like the illegals and go ahead and violate their borders. I don't know. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Maybe they need to take a play from their playbook and go violate their borders. Yeah, folks, everybody is learning something here now. They are learning something. Will they take the lesson to heart? I doubt it. They never do. But you're the one who needs to take it to heart here. Just understand this is the environment you find yourself in, and aiding white supremacy is not going to go nearly as easily as it used to. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here on tonight's program. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the haven of intelligent black thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go and check out our groundbreaking, best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromised.